Welcome back. You're watching News Center. Now, food delivery platforms like Zomato, Swiggy, Blinkit and Zepto had the busiest ever New Year's Eve as Indians partied hard. Celebrating the demand growth, Dipinder Goyal of Zomato tweeted that the food aggregators' deliveries on this New Year's Eve were equal to deliveries of the last 6 years put together, hitting an all-time high orders per day. He also shared that Zomato delivery partners received 97 lakh rupees as tips in just a single day. Meanwhile, Swiggy saw a peak of 1,244 orders per minute and over 4.8 lakh Biryanis were ordered on New Year's Eve. Now, Zepto too had an icy New Year's Eve, with the platform selling over 600 kilos of ice cubes on the 31st of December between 5 to 6 p.m. Another popular delivery platform, Blinkit, says that it had the highest ever orders in just a day, highest ever orders per minute and highest ever tips given to riders in just a day. And well, to talk more about this New Year frenzy, we are now joined by Mr. Rohit Kapoor, CEO of Food Marketplace at Swiggy India. Mr. Kapoor, thank you so much for joining us. Indians continue to share their love for biryanis. Tell us, how did that translate into numbers for you on New Year's Eve?
So it was just crazy. I think the New Year's Eve, we are all in office, and I never cease to wonder at what happens when the evening strikes. Just to correct you, the 1244 orders per minute were just biryani. The platform orders were way higher. It was probably 6 or 7 times that number, right? The high for that minute. Biryanis continue to rule the roost, but it is. I think yesterday was we broke all records across food, across Instamart, just in terms of pretty much any metric you take, whether it was our highest ever orders recorded per day or per minute, or any city you take. So it was a good day. I think it just felt good being with the team, serving millions of consumers yesterday. Yeah.
Let me then follow it up by just asking you how the festive season of 2023 did for you. The reason I ask that is because it happened to coincide with the Cricket World Cup, which again was a big driver for you. So give us a sense, the closing of the 2023 festive season, how did that stack up for you?
So the festive season actually has always got a mixed trends, because if you know, Navratri is there in October, and their consumption of especially non-veg items itself goes down. But the India matches saw great peaks. So we actually saw every India match. Evenings were just crazy. It's just that most of the India matches actually ended a little early, because India was just playing so well till the semifinals. So we missed out on the last 2 hours practically in every match. But it was good. I think there was series, there was Diwali, then there was World Cup, entered straight into Christmas. So October, November, December sees peaks and troughs, but ended on a high. I think yesterday was super good.
Give us a sense of how these numbers, the way they stacked up, what that tells you about how 2024 is looking for you. And I ask you that, operating in a highly competitive space, do you anticipate higher marketing spends? Is that the way forward?
So, Asmit, we are not particularly seeing that marketing spends are going up, because as a company which is now known across towns and cities, the awareness levels are fairly high, right? So there is very little you need to spend in terms of awareness. There's a lot you need to do in terms of consideration. We focus a lot more on building consideration, and also just getting our service levels up every month, every day, every year, with a very focused view, right? So I don't see marketing spends as a percentage of revenue particularly trending up over a period of time. I don't expect that to happen in this category.
Sure. And how is 2024 looking in terms of demand outlook for you?
Very hard to say. We are on 1st January. I think we have. I'm not so much of a crystal ball gazer, right? This is a category which moves up with season, which moves up with festivals, which moves up with whatever is happening in the economy. I think 2023 turned out to be, by and large, a good year. There were 1 or 2 months where demand was low, but most of the year we saw very decent traction in terms of demand. So hoping that trend continues. Also, a lot lined up. I think we are just heading into March, where the IPL actually starts early this year a little bit. Then we will have the elections, in the general elections come in May, around that time. So I think first of the year, half of the year looks very, very action packed, and we look forward to it. So for us, I think rather than focus on what the macro is, we just want to make sure that, like yesterday, which was I think a delightful day for us, where we just not only we did
Sure.
record number of orders, but we did it in the most. I think our consumer metrics in terms of speeds, in terms of minimum number of delays, in terms of
Right.
just take any consumer metric, it was fantastic, and that's what we really feel happy about. And if we keep doing that, I'm a firm believer this is a category which is starting out in India, and we'll see we have a lot of headroom.
Let me then ask you one last question. The last time we spoke, you spoke to us, you said that the business needs to transform from being merely transactional to experiential. Now, we've seen Swiggy roll out various features on a pilot basis. Do you see some of them firming up in terms of their contribution to the top line?
Oh, absolutely. I think, look, everything which is large today with us was a nascent feature or a business 3, 4 years back. Just even Instamart, which is such a large category for us in terms of our portfolio, was uh, was barely there 4 years back. So we are very excited about Gourmet. We saw again record number of orders on Gourmet yesterday. Equally, Pocket Hero is showing good signs. So I think there is a every pretty much everything that we launched last year is has shown signs and potential. And we are an innovative company. I think we are a builder bias. We just will keep bringing new features every quarter, every 2 months to the consumers, and that's our job. I think we put it out there with solid backing, solid desire to make it not just a value product, but also something consumers love all the time.
Right.
And I think so far we've had success with that, and
Right, Mr. Kapoor.
we intend to sort of not let that innovator builder bias in the company ever die down. So consumers can
Right,
always
Mr.
look for
Kapoor.
Swiggy introducing new things.
Right, Mr. Kapoor. I'm just having to interject there merely for want of time. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you had a good biryani yourself last evening, as did as many as 4.8 lakh Indians who ordered biryani last evening. But speaking of food and speaking of delivery on New Year's Eve, joining us now is also Mr. Aadit Palicha, the CEO at Zepto. Mr. Palicha, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Again, the same question for you, a stellar New Year's Eve. How did that close 2023 for you?
Yeah, it's wonderful to be here. Happy New Year to you, Ashmit, and the team at CNBC. Yesterday was, spectacular. I think we've had, we did the highest ever volume that we did on any given day. The business did, well over 20 crores of sales in just one day. That number 29 months ago was zero, right? And so for a company like us to go from zero to an annual run rate of thousands of crores, and to top it off with the highest ever volume that we've seen, at any given day yesterday, it was just wonderful. And it's coming off the back of multiple back-to-back record-breaking days, right? We broke a record on the World Cup final, we broke a record on Diwali, we broke the record on Christmas, and then we broke the record yesterday as well. So it's an exciting time at Zepto for sure.
What does the internal matrix tell you? What are the items that are most in demand, especially on these key days such as the Cricket World Cup or whether it's the New Year's Eve? What are these items which in fact show up the highest on your radar?
I think for most of these celebratory events, you have, the indulgence SKUs, right? Snacks, beverages, whether it's an ice cold thumbs up, whether it's a non-alcoholic Budweiser, whether it's sort of the new Cadbury chocolate launch that's been live. So you have a lot of these indulgence SKUs that do well, but we've actually seen trends that surprise us, right? For example, yesterday, right before your parties were getting started around 8:30 p.m., we saw this huge spike in gifting. These chocolate gift packs, or like these premium gift packs that people get, you can get them on Zepto in 10 minutes. All gift wraps, gifting bags, they just shot up. I think they started multiplying hour over hour in that like last minute dash before 8 p.m. We also saw funny trends like puja flowers during the World Cup final. In the first innings, people were very hopeful. we started seeing a little bit of a religious side coming out, and a spike that we didn't expect kicked in right before the match. So there are these interesting trends, primarily indulgence SKUs, celebratory SKUs, and products. But the big ones, the big days always surprise us with one, funny insight here or there, whether it's puja flowers, whether it's gifting last minute.
Sure. Let's talk business here. The larger players in this segment took almost a decade to become profitable. How are things looking for you? Is 2024 the year for you that we see Zepto turning profitable?
Absolutely. So, for us, just to put it in, in context, right, for your viewers, we started in July 2021. We were doing 0 rupees in sales, 0 orders per day, just, effectively 29 months ago, right? Now we're in a position where we became the fastest growing internet company in Indian history. We went from 0 to thousands of crores of annual sales in, effectively 2 years. And, with that, not only have we sort of grown as rapidly as we have, as things stand right now, we're on track to hit profitability, comfortably within 2024. We should, we think in the next 2 to 3 quarters within calendar year 24, hit EBITDA positive and operating cash flow positive, which, would effectively make us the fastest venture-backed, or one of the fastest venture-backed consumer internet companies to start generating cash flow, just like, 3 or a little over 3 years from launch. And that's with sort of, monumental growth. So I think the type of company we're trying to build is a lot more disciplined, a lot more frugal, a lot more rigorous, and with a bias towards execution excellence. Then let's say, the boom times when capital was free and interest rates were 0. I think our DNA that way has been leaner and hungrier. And so we've been able to grow with a lot less capital. And yeah, the idea is we build a company that just has a real phenomenal ROCE, which I don't think any, e-commerce or consumer internet venture-backed company has been able to deliver, like very high quality ROCE over like a 5-10 year period. Even today, if you look at some of the big names that are turning profitable, their return on equity, cumulative for the capital that they've burnt to the scale that they've gotten to, it's not very good. And I think, we have an opportunity to really build an iconic company that delivers high quality return on equity to shareholders over like a half a decade horizon.
Right, Mr. Palicha. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, wishing you a very happy new year. But that, unfortunately, is all the time that we have. It's a wrap on this edition of News Center. More news and updates will continue right here on the other side.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV18 on all of our digital platforms.